we're going to be going over Power Packet S, similar to the way we went over our homework. So select the two equations that are correct when number 20 is entered into the box. So I'm just going to enter 20 in all of these boxes. Now, when you're dealing with anything with a 0, you know your answer is going to have a 0 in it. And then when you're multiplying, and then you could just multiply 2 times 85. So 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So 1700 is correct. Okay, so far A. 20 divided by 4, well, you should know 20 divided by 4 is 5. So that one is not correct. Process of elimination. 1,500 divided by 20. You can just ignore the 0 and say 15 divided by 2 would be 7. So we're going to put it right here. Can't go into 1, it can't go into 15, so it goes into 7. 7 goes over the 0 for 150. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract. It's less than 20. Bring down. And you can even look at your thing. Well, let's just see if it's 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. 0. So that one is also correct. So far we got A and C. But I check all of them on these when it's wanting more than one, just to make sure I have the correct answers. Everybody can make a mistake. 120 times 6. Well, that's going to be more than 20. I don't even have to work it out, but if I did, it would be 720. And then 20 times 50. And again, I'm going to say 0 for that one, 0 for that one, and then 5 times 2 is 10. So that is not correct either. So number 1 is A and C. Okay, please enter your answer for number 2. All right, again, we want two equations that are correct when entering 200 in the box. So I'm going to go ahead and put 200 in all the boxes and see which ones are true. Now, these should look very similar to the ones on top. All right, we have 85, but here we have 1, 2, 3 zeros. Here we had 1, 2. I added an extra 0. So without working it, I'm going to figure that it's going to be this one. But let's check. All right, I know I'm adding a 0, so common sense tells me it should just have 1 0 more. But 8, 5 times 2, and then we're going to add 2 zeros. So 5 times 10, or 5 times 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. So yes, indeedy, it is correct. This one, we're dividing. It is a little different because this is 40 instead of 4, and this is still 50. So I am going to work that one out. 200 divided by 40. Can't go into 2. It cannot go into 20. So it has to go into 200. Well, I'm going to say 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 4 is 20. But it's still not correct because this is 50, not 5. Number 2C. 1500, 0. So 15,000 divided by 200. Can't go into 1. It cannot go into 15. It cannot go into 150. All right, and again, just to make it easy, I'm going to use its answer. So let's see. 7 to 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 0 is 0. 7 times 2 is 14. Subtract. It is less than 200. Bring down. And the next number is 5. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 0 is 0. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract and get 0. So yes, this one is still true. And if you look, I just added, there was a 0 added here for the 20 to 200 and a 0 added here from 1,500 to 15,000 now. All right, so just to make sure, let's work the others. 1,200 times 6. Well, again, common sense tells us multiplying a number greater than 1 by another number greater than 1 is going to be bigger than both of them. 200 is smaller than 1,200, so it would not be that. And then the last one, 200 times 50. All right, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, zeros. And then 5 times 2 is 10. 1,000 is what it has. We got 10,000, so no, not correct. So again, A and C for number 2. Moving on to number 3. Go ahead and enter what you got for the volume, and go ahead and tell me how you entered it, or how you found it. Okay, so the volume, I'm going to go over how to find it first. So volume is length times width times height, or volume is base times height, even when we're counting. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 is the top, and it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 high. Okay, 12 times 5 is 60. So it is 60 units cubed, or cubic units. All right, then if we did length times width times height, the length is 1, 2, 3, 4. The width is 1, 2, 3. And the height is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 5 is 60. 60 cubic units. All right, so units cubed, cubic units. I do not believe you can, you could say, units cubed if you were writing it, but you cannot put an exponent in, to my knowledge. So just write it out. It should be written out. And in explaining, so this is explaining how you got it, either base times height, length width times height, and then that is the actual answer to the problem. All right, moving on to number 4. So with number 4, it asks for an equation, and I had mentioned that area is length times width, and it's wanting G to represent the area. So it's just the area of the garden, G, is length times width. So up here we see it is 18 wide. Whoops, length times width. So it's 18 wide and it's 27 feet long. So here you should have G equals 27 times 18. If you just did 27 times 18, that's fine. If you did 18 times 27, it would give you the same answer. So I would still take it. All right, and then for the second one, it just says solve it. So 27 times 18, 8 times 7 is 56, 8 times 2 is 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 1 times 7, sorry, put in my space saver washing machine, wash out what I'm not using. 1 times 7 is 7, 1 times 2 is 2. Then add 6, 8, and 4. 486 feet squared. You can abbreviate. If you did, that's fine. If you didn't, that's fine. You can say feet squared, squared feet. Okay, and again, I don't think you could have put feet with an exponent of 2 for squared, so you would have needed to have spelled it out. All right, moving on to number 5. Now, number 5 is an extension of number 4. If you watched my hints, you would already have this much spelled out. Go ahead and enter your answer for number 5. Okay, so what we need to know is how much the fence cost. So write an expression for how much the fence costs and then solve it. So we know that each foot costs $43, so we need to know how many feet total. So we'd already went over 18, 27, 27. So this whole thing is 18. The gate is 3, so that means this portion here is 15. So I'm going to add up 18, 27, 27, and 15. Okay, so 27, 27, 18, and 15. I typically do it in parts, so I'll do these. 7 and 7, 14, 2, 4, 54, 13, 33, and then I'll add these. 4 and 3 is 7, 5 and 3 is 8. So 87. And then I'm going to do 87 times 43. Right. As you can see, I'm starting to run out of room on this paper. So I will move it down to the bottom, work it out down here, and then put my answer. I mean, really, your answers can be anywhere. It's just a matter of entering them into the computer. So the first thing I'm going to do is 87 times 43. 3 and 7 is 21. Carry the 2. 3 times 8, 24, 25, 26. Then I got to put in my washing machine. Wash out the things. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. 33, 34. Then I'm going to add 1, 14, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 3. 3,741. So that's just this part, 3,741. Then I have to go ahead and bring down, bring down, bring down. And now I'll add these two. And so 3,741, and I already have it down here. I'm going to add 128. 8 plus 1 is 9, 4 plus 2 is 6, 7 plus 1 is 8, and 3. So 3, 8, 6, 9. So $3,869. All right, so you would have needed the expression, and you would have needed the final answer in your answer. Let's move on to number 6. All right, now this one, all I want you to enter is your answer here and the problem you would use to check it. Okay, so enter that for number 6 now. Okay, let's solve it. So this is an area model for this problem. And Some people who aren't familiar with area models or aren't, it's not their strength. If you're very good at area models, you're going to know outside times outside equals inside. Inside divided by outside gives you the other outside. If not, just go ahead and divide it. That's why down here, I just have the division problem. So we already know it's going to start with 8. So 8, so nothing. 8 times 8 is 64. Subtract 5. It's less, so I'm going to bring down 7. 7 times 8 is 56. Subtract. It is less, so I'm going to bring down. And then I'm going to pick sorry, should have brought down a 6. There we go. Makes more sense if you bring down the right numbers. Okay, and so then we're going to pick 3, 24, subtract 2, nothing left to bring down, so the remainder is 2. Now, since my paper is a little short, I'm going to write my answer right up here, 873, remainder 2. So that is the first thing you would have needed. But I asked you to go ahead and fill out the chart. So let's go ahead and see how that would have worked. So let's just look at this. 873, remainder 2. Okay. Then you've got, so now we have all the tops. I'm going to now rewrite the problem up here to show you how this correlates, or how it's the same. All right. Okay, so this is the problem. So we have the top 873 divided by 8. Now we're looking for the inside. So on an area model, it is top times side. So 8 times 8 is 64 and 2 zeros. Okay, remember we talked about that, them running into each other. Well, right here is the 64. And if you just add zeros all the way to the end, that's your first line. Okay, the area model and using a division problem is literally, it's just a different road to get to the destination. All right, now 7 times 8 is 56, and then a 0 right here. That would be the middle one. Everywhere you have a line is going to be inside. You have to remember how many zeros would be present, and it's place value. And then the last one should be 24 because we're already at the end. All right, that's at the end. Keeping everything lined up, we're at the end. So let's double check. 3 times 8, 24, remainder 2. So filling in your letters, N would have been 70, P would have been 3, M would be 6400, 6,400, comma, that's a comma. Q would have been 24, and R would have been 2. Okay. Now, to check your work, you check it with the inverse operation. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. And so outside times outside should equal inside. 8 times 3 is 24, 56, 57, 58, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69. Okay, we're not there yet. But then we have to remember there's a remainder. So it's going to be plus 2 gives you a 6896, and that is our thing. So what you should have entered is 873 times 8, then add 2. Okay, so when we added 2, it gave us our answer. So our actual equation is 873 times 8, then add 2. All right, let's move on to, again, don't fret if you didn't get it, the parentheses. We're just learning that this week. Let's move on to the very last one. We see our little stop sign, but this one is a doozy. So right now for number 7, I asked you to change that if you watched the hints. Go ahead and enter how many cases of water you think we need. You can just put the number. All right. So for this one, you would have needed to have figured out there's 117 athletes. Each of them need 4 bottles, and some of you may have went ahead and added another column, and they're going to need it for 3 days. So we need to multiply all of this to get the number of bottles. All right. So first, 117 times 4 is 468, and times that by 3 gives you 1,404 bottles. Now the next one. 7 times 3 is 21. And then 21 times 3 is 63. Notice I'm going ahead and keeping these lined up. I'm not just writing numbers willy-nilly. I'm lining up the 1s, I'm lining up the 10s, because I'm going to need to know total bottles at the end, and I will be adding them together. So it helps if you keep things lined up in the meantime. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 3 is 24. Now I need total bottles. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 6, 7, 8, 9, 4, and 1. So you would have needed 1,491 bottles. Now it doesn't ask for how many bottles. It asks for how many cases. And we know that 1 case holds 24 bottles, same as it does at Walmart, all right? So if you, and this is a real life scenario, people are doing this, providing water for different sporting events, okay? This is an actual real life situation. And that's why there is so much math to it. In real life, things aren't just simple math. It's usually you have to think about, you have to work. So if I know I have 1,491 bottles and each case holds 24, remember each always means either divide or multiply. Well, if this is individual bottles and I need by the case, I'm going to divide those bottles into cases. So it doesn't go into 1, it doesn't go into 4, it can go into 149. And if you do not know your 24s, which I don't, you can make a little chart all the way through 9. I know my 0, I know my 1, I know my 2. All right, after that, probably have to figure it out, but I can go ahead and figure it out. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 5, 6, 7. All right. Okay, so 72 is close, but I'm not sure if it's close enough, so I'm going to do 24 more. So 4 times 24 is 16. Let's see. 4, 8, 96. Still not there, so I'm going to go up to 5. Actually, it's going up a little slow. I'm going to go ahead and skip to 6. All right, 6 times 24 is 144. Okay, so that one is closer. I know it's I'm using Scratch and it may be hard to see, so let me go ahead. And so 5, I do not know. 4 was 96. 6 was 144. Okay, hopefully that 5 is blank. All right, hopefully that makes it easier for you to see. All right, so 6 works. 6 times 24, we already figured is 144. Subtract 5, less than 24, so I'm going to bring down 1, 51. That goes all the way up here to 2. 2 times 24 is 48. Subtract, makes that 4, makes that 11, makes that 3. Okay, now I'm out of the room. So it's 62 with a remainder of 3. Now, if I need, this means I need 62 cases and a little bit more. If I want to make sure I have all of this, I have to buy 63 cases because I need 62 and a little more. So since 62 won't do it, I have to go ahead and buy 63, even though I will have a little bit left over. All right, and that is the end of your powder packet.